What's up guys, it's De'Ara. I'm back with another video, and today we are going to be talking about all the books that genuinely changed my life. If you guys are excited, definitely give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And yeah, let's jump right in. So this book is called Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell, and this is a daily read. So it has quick little pages that you can just read every other day, every day. I have a bookmark tab called A Prayer for Expansion, and it says, "Beloved Counsel of Light, guide my hands, my heart, my mouth, and my feet. When I start clinging, remind me to surrender. When I ignore you, speak up louder than before. When I make it about me, help me to get out of my own way. When I am fearful, let me see my fears as opportunities to expand. Thank you for working through me throughout my day." And so it is. This is a beautiful book. It almost feels like a guide. It feels like something that is meant to help you along your journey of awakening and remembering that life is intentional and that everything that you do is ultimately leading you to your soul's purpose and your soul's calling. So this is a book that I recommend 10 out of 10. Next, The Four Agreements. This has been the biggest help in teaching me not to take anything personal and reminding me that everything that people do is about them, and that a true sign of selfishness is when you're so self-absorbed that you think that everything is about you. People are journeying and they have their own issues, their own problems, their own fears, and everything that they do is not because of something you did, and that is the quickest way to get out of your own head. This book is really powerful. It has some nuggets. I usually like to highlight my books. I think I did highlight a few in here. So let me see if there's something I want to share with you guys. This taught me what resonates as sin in my life. I used to think that sin was, doing things that were outside of the Bible that Christians deem as wrong. And now I really see sin as anything that you do against yourself, anything that you're doing that does not resonate or identify with who you really are at your being, anything that feels like this is a sin against myself. That's just how I see sin now. Anything that doesn't truly resonate with who I am as an authentic being, that is causing harm to me and those around me, is considered sin. So this book is very eye-opening. It really kind of takes off the cast of this illusion that we call life, and it gives you 4 principles to live by that will make your experience so much better here on earth. Okay, The Power of Now. This is a book that transformed my thinking. It talks a lot about acceptance and the beauty of space and how you can eliminate suffering, and I really believe that this book is the only thing that has gotten me through the beginning of this year as well as the end of 2020, because I have little quirks about me that really I just have to maintain in order to keep them from ruining my friendships, relationships, and I actually do the work. I do the work to not allow those characteristics to overpower me, and this book was just a complete mind shift to where I almost didn't have to maintain daily, where I could just let things be. And that was such a beautiful opportunity for my mind to finally just rest. And so yeah, this book talks a lot about how the reason we suffer is because we're unwilling to just accept what is, and it talks about the beauty of space, and it really reminds me of this idea of actual space. Like, if we didn't have space between things, how would we really see their beauty? How would we be able to acknowledge how incredible the stars and the moon is, or the clouds, if there was no depth, if there was no space or distance in between us? And so this book is for anybody who wants to journey to enlightenment. This will totally shift your thinking, and I could not recommend it enough. Oprah's What I Know for Sure. This book has gotten me through heartbreak and disappointment, and it has been a go-to anytime I feel I need a bit of reassurance. And I mean, Oprah is my auntie, right? Like, this book tells a lot about her life. It talks about intentions. This says, "There's no problem created that can compare to the creator of all things. Gratitude grounds us. It shifts us from the negative to the positive. The more grateful you become, the more you have to be grateful for. So that kind of reminds me of the law of attraction and how we really do call things into existence. And if you want to gain more to be grateful for, you have to be grateful. But each chapter is just really beautiful, and it talks about different subjects. It gets you to believe in the possibilities, that beautiful things can happen despite what you've been through, and I really love that about this book. My most recent read is Crucial Conversations. This book was so hard to digest, and it's not a hard read, it just was very difficult because as someone who has been on this journey to be a better communicator, I think that my thoughts of just expressing myself and pushing myself to get uncomfortable and just have conversations is what I thought was getting me on the journey to being a healthy communicator. But I realized that I still have to do the internal work before communicating and examine my thoughts. Like, why am I having these feelings? What story am I telling myself? So this teaches you to think about the stories that you tell yourself, and it teaches you to approach problems as challenges in a sense that you're always questioning why you're believing what you're believing, and you're not blaming, you're not creating a victim or a villain mentality or storyline. And so this helps you take ownership of your responsibility in communicating. And I thought that this book was going to help me through a really tough situation that I found myself in, but not that it didn't, it just, I haven't evolved to the place where I want to be when it comes to communicating. My goal is to be a highly effective communicator, and sometimes we think highly effective is being the loudest and the most heard and having the most beautiful words, but really it's about how do you get what you desire out of the conversation. How do you actually achieve the goal in which you're setting out in the conversation? Because the goal isn't to be right. The goal is to, one, be understood. It's to find mutual understanding, mutual meaning. It's to actually have dialogue and not you just always being the one talking or trying to fix things. So yeah, this book challenged me, but for sure a great read. Next book is Attached. This is a book about attachment styles. I think I've mentioned this several times, but this book teaches you if you're anxious, avoidant, or secure. And it talks a lot about how anxious people tend to chase people or chase relationships or chase resolve, and avoidant people tend to run from it. They run from love, they run from conflict. And secure people are just those people who are the happy medium. You know, they're not afraid of love, but they're also not chasing love. They're just kind of existing and being healthy and doing their work. And what I've come to learn is that there's actually another type of attachment style called fearful avoidance. So it's someone who actually does want love, but they just seem to self-sabotage or feel like, you know, they've been hurt before, so they don't really want to invest fully in something new. And so this book is great if you're an anxious person. This will teach you that a lot of times avoidant people are not, it's not even intentional. It's just something that they're wired to do, and it gets you back focused on yourself, and it teaches you that you don't have to date people who trigger your attachment style. I always say people are only as needy as their unmet needs. So if you find yourself as someone who's anxious, obviously you should be doing the work to remember that you're an individual and that you can be healthy all on your own. You don't need to chase anyone, but you also can date people who aren't avoidant. You can date people who don't, you know, want the exact opposite of what you want, which is closeness and intimacy, and you desire to have depth in your relationships. So you should date people who have similar interests. So yeah, great book. Okay, last one. As you guys can see, this book has got a lot of wear and tear. It's called All About Love by Bell Hooks. This book, it rescued me from the depths of darkness, and it taught me what love really is, and that it's okay if you really can't define it. It taught me that love is not about permanence, that you can really care for someone and even really want them in your world, but it's not about owning them. It's not about possession. It's about just letting things be an experience and not being heartbroken when things don't always go your way, not running into your shell and becoming afraid of love. It also talks a lot about patriarchy and men's struggle with vulnerability and being able to learn from women who really do desire love and allowing them to help them come to that understanding of what love is and the possibilities of how beautiful it can be, especially when they're not taught that they can be soft or they can be vulnerable. So this book is really, really beautiful. Bell Hooks is just an incredible author. Like, I can't even describe how many times this book has made me cry. Yeah, it talks about love as more of an awakening, and it talks about how beautiful solitude can be and how you have to use solitude wisely and you can't allow it to, you know, make you afraid to take more risk. But yeah, guys, clearly I'm in my feels right now. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I need a hug from God right now. But I really wanted to make this video because I thought that, you know, if these books changed my life, clearly they could change someone else's life. So these have definitely been read, probably will be read again. If you guys want to take a little screenshot. Actually, I'll just list these in the bottom bar in the description box. You guys, today's a good day to have a good day. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time.